This is Aaron Freed with Blue Ribbon Flies in West Yellowstone, Montana. And today we're going to be tying our blue on blue soft hackle. We are starting with an Umpqua U105 hook in a size 8. TM code 3769 is a great choice as well. And we're using an aqua blue Uni-Stretch as our thread. So we're going to start this fly right behind the eye. And one thing about tying with this Uni-Stretch is you want to be really sparse with your thread wraps as much as you can. This is really thick stuff, so the more wraps you put on there, it turns out to be kind of a chunky fly pretty quick. So just get started right behind the eye, and the first thing we're going to do is tie on our hackle. This is a rough grouse feather. I stripped the stem, left a little bit of fluff on there, and I like to tie this in towards the front, pointing out the front of over the eye. So I'm left about an eye width of space between that feather and the eye. That's where we're going to finish the fly at. So a couple good wraps to tie that down. Don't need any more. And then for our tail, we're going to use about 8 strands of pearl blue crystal flash. And I usually line these butts up just kind of with where I stopped wrapping, coming back on my stem, and just pinch these tight enough to make sure they stay on top of the shank. And just one even set of wraps back, stopping at the bend. And clip those maybe half the length of the shank, give or take. And then we're going to just use a silver wire, small wire for our rib. And same thing, I'll lay that along the shank, and then just one smooth, even set of wraps going back forward. That way our body hasn't gotten too fat. We can maintain a somewhat slim profile. And we'll just wrap our wire forward about 5-6 turns. Get that out of the way. And then we're going to use a blue Steely ice dub for the thorax. And you don't need a ton of this material, but you can wrap it kind of coarse, so just double a little bit of that on there, and a few extra fibers sticking out like that is okay. Fish seem to like those fibers trailing in the current behind the fly. So move your thread up to the eye. We'll go ahead and grab our feather with the hackle pliers and just kind of keep sweeping these fibers back as you wrap. You wrap right up to the eye until you can't wrap anymore. Just catch it with 1 or 2 wraps to hold it in place. And then again, this builds up really quick on the whip finish, so I'll give it about 2 or 3 turns. And that's enough to just go right over the base of those fibers and hold everything in place there. And then, since this is a coarse thread and we didn't do a lot of turns with our whip finish, we just want to make sure to get some glue on the head of that fly. But tying in the feather first leaves that little bit of extra space up front, helps keep that head relatively small. If you try to tie the feather in at the end, right behind the eye, it gets real fat real quickly. So that's the blue on blue. It's one of our favorite flies for swinging on the Madison in the fall, for fall run fish coming out of Hebgen Lake. It's been known to catch some fish on the fire hole in the spring too during high water, but just a good all-around attractor soft tackle.